Hey Eurovision fans, we now know the 38 countries competing in Eurovision 2025 and we have the first set of odds. We're going to look at the full rankings from the bottom all the way up to the top, talk about each country and what they've got coming up this season. So let's kiki. Hi, my name is Tom. I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst and you can find all of this stuff on my Eurovision channel. So obviously it's very early in the season. You have to take these odds with a little pinch of salt, but it's still kind of fun to see how things lay right at the start of the season, just as a comparison that we can use later on to see how things have moved around. So let's start off with the bottom 13. And in 38th place, we have poor Moldova, one of the last countries to confirm, I believe the second last. The lowest rank of the 15 countries here who haven't won Eurovision yet. Not sure why they're so low down the bottom because they've actually got a pretty decent record. And they had that third place finish with Hey Mama and the 7th place finish with Trenena Tool. But I think they are going back to their national final, which is kind of notorious for being a little bit messy. So that could be one of the reasons why people maybe want to wait a little bit later before betting on Moldova. 37th place, we have Azerbaijan, who've won the contest before in 2011, but they are on a 2 non-qualification streak. And it's not just having 2 non-qualifications, it also is the fact that those were so far away from qualifying. They have changed their head of delegation. Could that be what they need to shake things up? Azerbaijan, a very far call from when they entered the competition and got 6 top 8 finishes in a row. Now, I will say that those were slightly shadier times. You know, you could say it was a different era in terms of how the televote worked. But yes, Azerbaijan definitely do need a shake-up. I understand why they're so low. In 36th place, we have Georgia, who just broke their 6th non-qualification streak, qualifying last year. Obviously, a lot of turmoil going on in Georgia right now. I really hope that they can make it through this tough period. And I think that being at Eurovision is really important for them to show off their national identity. We're most likely going to be getting internal selection from them. In 35th place, we have Albania. Now, if you follow the odds, you'll know that Albania usually live at the bottom of the odds at the start of the season and for quite a significant period. They're usually one of the first countries to choose their entry in Festival Kungas. I have done a review to Festival Kungas if you want to go check that out. It's 30 songs. It's a bit of a slog, but you know, you can power through. Yeah, so they're currently sitting at 35th. That could be due to the fact that we have quite a few interesting entries there, and that might be why they are not on the bottom this year. A lot of hype about Elvana Gata and also Shkoda Electronica giving something a little bit different. So people getting a bit excited for that. In 34th place, we have Slovenia, who've also just released their artist. We might be getting the songs in December. I'm not too sure. The artists were just released a couple of days ago. July Jones there, Clemen, who did that quite infamous medley of all the previous Slovenian entries, dressed up as all the previous Slovenian entries that went quite viral. He's in there as well. Slovenia going back to their national final, Emma, after 2 internal selections that both qualified. So a little bit of a risky change-up, but it looks like they got some pretty good names applying. So that could work out for them. Still sitting quite low. They've never won before, and they haven't been top 10 since 2001 Energy, when they came 7th. So understandably, that's quite a big jump to go from not being top 10 for over 20 years into winning. In 33rd place, we have Czechia, and this is the first of the 3 artists that we already know for Eurovision 2025. It's Adonis. I'm hopefully going to do a little short episode talking about him and his background. He's actually from Slovakia, but because Slovakia aren't participating, I think he said, F it, I'm just going to go with Czechia instead. I think he's going to be giving us an up-tempo song, currently sitting at 33rd. They also have never won before. I think their best result is 6th in 2018. Gotta admit, of all those countries who've never won before, I do feel like Czechia are one of the ones who think outside the box and have that X factor, which I think is really important if you want to win in modern Eurovision. 32nd, we have San Marino. I don't know why San Marino are so high. They've never been top 17 before. They don't have very much money. Usually their entries have to do a little bit of self-funding themselves. So I have no idea why they aren't bottom, but for some reason they're currently 32nd. I'm sure as we get more information about the songs, they'll probably sink down a little bit. In 31st place, we have our only song that we know about right now. It is Nina Zizic for Montenegro. Now, she is probably going to do a revamp. The song is written by Darko Dimitrov, who has had several entries in Eurovision before, very well-known music producer from North Macedonia who aren't competing this year. So I'm expecting him to be involved in that revamp. I do think this needs a revamp for the televote only semi-finals. I think it's not going to cut it unless this happens to be a very weak year. At the end of the day, we only have 1 song from the 32 semi-finalists competing this year. But based on previous years, it would need to be a little bit stronger, I think. In 30th place, we have Austria. So I covered this in one of my Eurovision news episodes. They are down to, I think, 7 artists with 8 songs. Well, they were a couple of weeks ago, and some of the songs are actually in German. So we might actually be getting a song in German from Austria. Austria have actually won the jury twice since 2014. Obviously, 2014 was when they got a win, and then they won the jury as well in 2018. So alongside Azerbaijan, they are the lowest ranked country who have won Eurovision before. 29th place, we have Malta, who just released 10-second snippets of all of their songs. In case you didn't see, one of them is about serving cant, K-A-N-T, which means singing in Maltese. There's also another song, which has a very long name, sung by Cantera. So a little bit of excitement for Malta this year. They're trying something a little bit spicier and naughtier. I think their main part of this year is just qualifying, but very nice to see that they are kind of higher up in the outright winner odds in 29th. 28th place, we have our third and final known artist, that is Theo Evan. No real news yet since the news broke that he was going to be representing Cyprus. But Cyprus have that fantastic qualification 8 of the last 9 years. Having said that, when they get to the final, other than Fuego in 2018, they haven't really had a big impact, usually sitting down the lower end of the right side of the scoreboard. So I can understand why people not really ready to put big money on them yet. They tend to deliver us up-tempo bops. That seems to be their bread and butter. Are they going to come with something different? We'll have to wait and see. In 27th place, we have Portugal. A little bit surprised to see them down so low, considering they've been doing quite well recently. 9th with Yolanda last year, 9th with Sadate Sadate, 12th with Black Mamba. That's very good results in recent years, and 4 qualifications in a row as well. Keep in mind, you cannot be eligible to win the competition if you haven't even qualified. So having a good qualification streak is definitely something that is appealing to someone who's going to be betting on who's going to win Eurovision 2025. So a little bit surprised that they're down low. In 26th place, we have a country that I'm quite surprised are so high. We have Denmark sitting in 26th place, despite them having the second worst non-qualification streak, 4 in a row. Montenegro coming back to the contest with 6 non-qualifications in a row saved them from being the worst. But yeah, Denmark definitely on a downward trajectory lately. Obviously winning in 2013, that's over 10 years ago. Having a really good result with Rasmussen as well in 2018, but then since then really struggling just to even qualify and have an impact. We've seen a little bit of out of touchness with their head of delegations, kind of implying that it was Europe's fault that Riley didn't qualify, kind of blaming Europe instead of looking inwards to progress. So not sure why Denmark are so high, but maybe somebody knows a secret about them. Okay, let's go to the next 13 countries, and at the bottom there we have Luxembourg in 25th place. This is going to be their second year back after a long hiatus. I don't think they're going to get as much nice luck this year. You know, last year they were given the best running order slot. I think their song probably would have qualified anyway. If you look at the numbers, they did particularly well in the televote. But yeah, definitely being last is a big boost up. So they're going to be a little bit more on their own this year. They have released the 7 artists competing in the national final, and those songs are dropping on the 19th or the 20th, I think, maybe the 19th. I will be doing a reaction to those here. So looking forward to that. Hopefully they're building a little bit more identity with their national final last year after having what was considered a very bland competition last year. In 24th place, we have Lithuania, who've just revealed the 45 artists competing in Eurovision.lt. I'm not going to cover all 45 songs. That is my limit. In case you're wondering what my cutoff point is, I will react to the people who qualify the final, as I did last year in that video series. We're looking forward to Lithuania. They've also been doing very well recently, qualifying 4 years in a row, and all 4 of those were top 14. They're the only Baltic who haven't won. Estonia and Latvia have obviously already won before, so I would really love them to make that breakthrough. I think 24th is pretty low down. I really do feel like they want that win. There's some countries you can kind of don't really want to win that much. I think Lithuania actually do. They've been sending songs in Lithuanian recently, which has been working really well for them. I think they're on the right path. 23rd place, we have Armenia, another strong country who's never won before. I picked out this cute little pattern that they're gaining 6 spots every year and also gaining 61 points. So theoretically, they could come second this year with 244 points. I think that's probably too low a score to come second. But yeah, Armenia on an interesting trajectory. They had done 3 internal selections in a row, but now they're bringing back their national final, Depi Evrattasil. That's going to be very interesting. I have covered that on this channel before, but this is going to be my first one watching live. So I'm very interested to see what was the reason for their change up. Why did they decide to move away from internal selections? I'm hoping that when we see the national final, it'll all make sense. Armenia, absolutely wonderful in Junior Eurovision. They've won it twice and they've never been outside the top 9, but they're yet to work their magic on adult Eurovision. 22nd place, we have Iceland, the country that I want to win Eurovision before I die. That's all I want in my life. Eurovision gods, please make it true. They won a hot streak from 2019 until 2021, but they seem to have gone off the boil a little bit. 2 non-qualifications in a row. Their big party this year is just qualifying. So yes, I can see why this is on the lower end of the scale. Having said that, a lot of passion in an Icelandic delegation. They would also love to win. So there will definitely be no lack of effort from Iceland. In 21st place, we have Greece, who are trying out a new national final this year. I believe there's going to be up to 12 artists competing in that with a mix of jury and televote. So that'll be very, very exciting. It's a long time since they've had a national final, doing a lot of internal selections. They'll be trying to follow up their 11th place from last year with Marina Sati. In 20th place, we have Latvia. Now, I've done a reaction to all the songs in Supernova. This is definitely one of the strongest Supernovas ever. This is probably going to end up being one of the strongest national finals this year. It is really, really interesting. Great variety as the haven for alternative music in Eurovision national finals. So very, very excited for Latvia. They've got several good options, and we're looking forward to the semi-final, singular, and final of that to see who rises to the occasion. They also just came off a 6 non-qualification streak. You would expect them to be lower in the odds, but this national final is quite strong, so I think that's why they're higher. Obviously, they qualified last year with Dons. They want to keep on that momentum and not go back to their previous non-qualification ways. 19th place, we have Finland, a little bit lower now, actually. They were sitting higher at the start of last season after coming off Cha Cha Cha. We are having UMK again this year with 7 songs. I'm very excited for that. I'm not sure if they're keeping their same 75% televote, 25% jury split, or if they're going to mix that up. But Finland have been one of the strongest countries in the last 5 years on a really great qualification streak. In 18th place, we have Switzerland. I have no idea why Switzerland are so low. They should be much, much higher. Switzerland are one of the top 5 countries in the last 5 years, and they've seen the biggest improvement in the last 5 years compared to the 5 years before that. They've really turned things around with their new internal selection system. My guess is that this is low because of the hosting curse, which doesn't actually exist. Generally, I just think most countries are hosting. They're so fixated on hosting the show, picking a song becomes secondary, except Sweden, because Sweden has shown they're able to do both things. They're able to walk and chew gum, and they got top 10 when they hosted, so it's not impossible. But yes, generally the results from hosts have been weak. I think it's because they are busy doing other things. I don't think that people mark down hosts. If Switzerland put the same strategy into choosing their song as always, no reason to think that they can't get back-to-backs. I do think back-to-back wins in Eurovision in the modern era is super difficult. This is not 1992, 3, 4. In 17th place, we have Serbia with their fantastic national final, Pesma za Eurovision. We've just had the 28 artists announced for that. We're looking forward to those songs. They usually come in January, I think. Serbia obviously looking for their second win. One of the main countries in Southeast Europe who could win. We have not had a Southeast European winner of Eurovision in such a long time. Obviously Ukraine won, but they were unfortunately not able to host. So we haven't had the contest in Southeast Europe in way too long. So really looking at Serbia to be one of the countries to lead the charge to bring Eurovision back to the region. In 16th place, we have Poland, one of the highest ranked countries who have never won before. They've had this little revamp of their national broadcaster. They've got a new format in their national final now where it's 100% televote after all of the controversy that happened with Jan and Blanka. Let's not even go there. People getting hopeful for Poland. They are the largest country in terms of population who has never won Eurovision before. They've definitely got the talent and the finances. They should have won by now. Hopefully this little mini revamp of their broadcaster can start off a hot streak for them. 15th place, we have Norway. They've just changed their head of delegation and they've also gotten rid of their semi-finals. They're just going to have a final this year with 10 songs. Norway have qualified 11 of the last 12 years, so you can pretty much expect that they're going to be in the final. And of those 11 appearances, 7 of them have been top 10, but none of them have been top 3. So very good at getting into the top 10 in those 4 to 10 slots, but not able to get on the podium. Can they do something different this year? In 14th place, we have Netherlands. Very happy that we even have Netherlands after they were threatening to withdraw. They'll be internally selecting this year. I think they got around 330 entries, which they're probably sifting through right now. Maybe Netherlands are looking for revenge after the disqualification of Joost Klang last year. In 13th place, we have Spain, who've had a fantastic revamp of their entire system in recent years. Their songs for Benidorm Fest, the national final, are coming out on December 18th. So mark that in your calendar. I will try and do my reaction video to all of those songs as soon as I possibly can. And now let's go to the top 12. In 12th place, we have Australia, who have a fantastic qualification record, and they love coming ninth. 3 ninth place finishes and a second place finish since they joined the contest in 2015. In 11th place, we have Ireland. Now, Ireland are usually right down the bottom at the start. We're not right down the bottom. We're usually around 29th, 30th, which is pretty justifiable for a country who hadn't qualified in so many years. But after last year coming 6th of the juries, 6th of the televote, 6th overall, very easy to remember those numbers. I think people are hoping that people will have been inspired by Bambi's incredible performance. There's also rumors that Lyra might be entering our national final. I covered that in my latest news episode. She's a pretty established star in Ireland, having a #1 album this year. So she's currently someone pretty big, which we don't usually get on in our national final. So a little bit of excitement about that. Not confirmed yet. It's just a rumor. In 10th place, some joy for Germans. Germans don't get much joy in Eurovision, but after their 12th place finish last year, which I accidentally predicted, they are 10th. I think some of that is excitement about Stefan Raab coming back, run the kind of selection process. Stefan Raab having very good results than before, involved in their 2010 win and their 2011, I think they came 11th when they hosted. Another example that the host doesn't have to do badly. Sorry, Lena came 10th. So a top 10 finish for a host. Still a bit unsure when the actual songs are going to be released. We're going to have some heats and then we're going to have a semi-final and then a final. Not sure when the songs are coming out yet. That doesn't seem to be very clear. But Stefan Raab, I think, has got a strong enough record that people are willing to maybe bet on him. In 9th place, we have our highest ranked country, which has never won Eurovision before, under the current flag. Yes, technically Croatia won in 1990. It was a Croatian band, but it was under the flag of Yugoslavia. Under the Croatian flag, they've never won. They're currently in 9th place, obviously coming off a huge amount of hype last year from Rim Tim Tagi Dim, exposing how incredibly enthusiastic Croatians are for Eurovision. My God, they were just living, loving, laughing at last year. They were so oozing positivity. Very exciting at the prospect of Croatia hosting at some point in the future. Again, another country in the southeast who's representing, trying to bring Eurovision back to that region. So really, really rooting for them. They're currently sitting at 9th. We're going to have Dora again this year with 24 songs. Are they going to put the best song in the alternates like they did last year? We'll have to wait and see. 8th place, we have the UK, who always seem to live up towards the top of the odds, despite not always doing the best. I do feel like there is a lot of people in the UK and Ireland who bet on Eurovision, and that is why Ireland and the UK tend to be a little bit exaggerated in where they're placed. No news about this yet. Last year, the UK act was announced on Strictly Come Dancing. No announcements so far that I'm aware of on Strictly Come Dancing, so we might have to wait a little bit longer for that. They've brought in Sam Ryder's manager to help them look for the act. So fingers crossed they can find someone special. In 7th place, we have Israel. I think some people are expecting them to get another large televote this year. You can't win on televote alone, though. You'll have to get the jury on your side as well. So is that something that they can do this year? In 6th place, we have France, who are fantastic in both Junior Eurovision and Adult Eurovision. They've won Junior Eurovision 3 times. France on a fantastic overall streak now with their head of delegation who works both of them, Alexandra Redemiel, coming off a 4th place finish in Malmö. Yeah, France are fantastic. Very excited for their song. I saw some rumors about the artist, but otherwise things have been quite quiet right now. I believe they're internally selecting again this year. I've got high expectations for France now. They really are delivering most of the time in Eurovision in recent years, so I've got high expectations for this. In 5th place, we have Estonia. Now, I've also done my reaction to the Estonian songs. I also did an analysis video talking about that and Tommy Cash, who is the big name. And I'm guessing that's the reason that Estonia are so high in the rankings is because of Tommy Cash. He's kind of in that Joost, Baby Lasagna, Garia, Little Big genre of contestant. He says he wants to finish off what Joost and Karia started. We haven't seen his live performance yet. He is a visual artist, so I'm expecting something pretty big in Istilau, which is the Estonian national final. We'll have to wait and see. Some people, though, betting on that. Keep in mind, we have so little information that even something like him being a big shot, you know, Baby Lasagna winning the televote, Joost probably won or come second in the televote, Karia winning the televote as well. People are kind of thinking that he could be a televote magnet if he's chosen. In 4th place, we have Italy, who live in the top 7, not the top 10, the top 7. 7 top 7 finishes in a row. So where with some countries you're worrying, are they going to qualify or not? Do I want to bet on them if I don't even know if they're going to be in the final? Italy obviously qualify automatically for the final, but they also pretty much come top 7 every single year. So you've kind of got a 1/7 chance that they're going to win anyway because they just send absolute pure quality. Their song comes from Sanremo, which is this fantastic large music cultural festival that is its own entity that happens to choose their song for Eurovision. They've already announced the lineup for that. It's got some huge names. I covered that in my last news episode, so go check that out. They're second in the all-time rankings in the last 10 years, third in the all-time rankings in the last 10 years, and third in the odds is Ukraine, another country that's just incredible at Eurovision. The only country with a 100% qualification streak other than Luxembourg. But Luxembourg are 1 out of 1, whereas Ukraine, I think, are 14 or 15 out of 15, which I think is more impressive than 1 out of 1. Ukraine take this contest very seriously. They're fantastic at showing off their culture, and they have really, really excellent artists representing them. Beautiful staging, very much deserve to be right up the top. In second place, we have Sweden, #1 country in the last 10 years. They are joint first with Ireland for the most Eurovision wins ever, 7. I think they're coming for that 8th win very, very soon. I think they want it. They've also announced the artists for their Melody Festival in the national final. I talked about that in that video. Just go watch that video because this has got all the information about the artists that you need. Mon Zemilov, who won in 2015, is coming back. He saw what Loreen did and he's like, ooh, I want some of that. So maybe he's going to try and come back for a double win. I think Eurovision has moved on since he won in 2015. I think it's evolved a lot. So I think he'll have to show us Mons 2.0 if he wants to win. But you can pretty much be guaranteed that Sweden are going to qualify and that they're going to come top 10. It is a pretty astute thing to bet on them potentially winning. And in first place, you're going to be very surprised about this, just as I was. We have Belgium. Yes, Belgium are currently top of the odds. Now, we do need to point out this is very, very early, and I have no idea why Belgium are #1. They have announced the 8 artists for their national final Eurosong. They have some strong artists. Mentissa, who is a very, very established singer in the country, very beautiful voice. She's in there. I believe their songs were performed for a private audience. So I don't know if maybe the people in the private audience went off and then bet on Belgium to win because they like some of the songs. I've also heard rumors that the songs are quite strong this year. It'd be very impressive if Belgium came from non-qualifying to come back and win. That would be a huge comeback after not qualifying last year with Musty. But yes, at this point in time, Belgium are top of the odds. If you're Belgian, take a photo, hang it up on your wall. We don't know how long this is going to last for. Take it with a pinch of salt. It's very early in the season, but it's kind of fun to look at the order now. We can compare that to later. And obviously, it's good to just go and give an update on what all of the countries are doing. Okay, that is my wrap up of the current odds. What did you think? Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you so much to Deborah Ann for supporting me on PayPal. No new donations on Buy Me Coffee, but if you want to support the channel, I'll have links to you in the description down below. And of course, thank you to all my wonderful patrons for patronizing me from all around the world. If you want to check out my Patreon, you can do a 1-week free trial to see if you like it. I give early updates. There's no ads on the videos. I do some early releases and a couple of behind the scenes things as well. So go check that out. But of course, thank you so much just for being here, and I hope to see you in another Eurovision analysis video very soon. Goodbye.